Do you often judge things, situations, or people too quickly, too superficially, or too narrowly? No matter your answer, chances are you've overlooked many deeper truths hidden behind certain circumstances. Now let's join Buddha and mindfulness to listen to the following meaningful story. Together, we'll explore how our minds often fall into the trap of habitual thinking when trying to understand a problem, a situation, or a person. Through this, you may discover your own personal lesson.
One gentle morning, as sunlight streamed through the classroom windows, an elderly professor calmly walked into the room. His face looked just as peaceful as it did every day, but within a few seconds, he made an announcement that left the entire class silent. "Today," he said, "we're going to have a surprise test." A wave of whispers swept through the room. No one had prepared for this. Some students lowered their heads in worry. Others looked around curiously, trying to guess what kind of test it might be. The professor said nothing more. He quietly handed out one sheet of paper to each student and instructed them to keep the paper face down and wait. "Only when everyone has received the paper," he said in a calm but firm voice, "may you turn it over." The air grew strangely tense, as if something unexpected was waiting behind those sheets of paper. Finally, once every student had their paper, the professor signaled, "Now, turn your sheets over." But instead of questions, math problems, or essays, each paper contained just one thing: a single round black that placed exactly in the center of a blank white sheet. No title, no instructions, just a black dot, silent and solitary. The class was puzzled. Some students glanced at each other, while others furrowed their brows in confusion. Whispers spread through the room. No one knew what to do. The professor smiled gently and said, "I want you to write a short paragraph describing what you see on the paper." No one asked questions. Though confused, they all picked up their pens and began to write. Some described the dot size and position. Others speculated on its symbolic meaning. A few students even tried to connect it to philosophical or psychological ideas. When everyone had finished, the professor quietly collected the papers. He began reading them aloud, one by one, without mentioning names. As he read on, something became clear. Every single student had only written about the black dot. No one had mentioned the rest, the white space surrounding it. The professor paused, looked around the room, then slowly said, "I'm not going to grade this test. It wasn't meant to measure knowledge. It was a test of perspective. You all had a large white sheet in front of you, but you focused only on the tiny black dot. Just like in life, we have many good things, but we often fixate only on what's negative." He paused for a moment, then continued, his voice calm but firm. "We have friends, family, a roof over our heads. We have our health, peaceful moments, and dreams we have yet to fulfill. But instead of being grateful, we spend most of our time worrying about little things, a single failure, a harsh comment, or some temporary lack." The professor went on, his gentle gaze moving across the room. "I'm not saying you should ignore your problems or pretend everything is perfect, but learn to focus on what truly matters. Let the positive things take up more space in your mind, because in reality, they're what shape your life. Life is just like this paper. There may be a few black dots, but don't let them block all the light. Happiness doesn't come from having no dark spots. It comes from recognizing the white space and appreciating it." The class remained silent, but it was no longer the silence of confusion. It was the quiet of realization, a test with no grades, yet one that left a lasting impression in everyone's mind. And maybe, just like those students that day, those who are listening to this story, also need a moment to ask ourselves, which part of the paper are we focusing on? the black dot, or the vast white space that surrounds it.
You've just listened to a story from Buddha and Mindfulness, stories and teachings for a mindful life. If this story helped you see life more clearly, don't forget to share it with someone you care about. And follow our channel to continue nurturing mindfulness and gratitude each and every day.